borderline personality disorder can be very dangerous itself. You can be the object of physical and emotional harm, especially if you're codependent. It is not common, but has happened in some level of frequency where the borderline in their rage will become homicidal. They will kill their partner. It's very rare. But my point is, when the borderline loses control and gets flooded with the rage and disgust and anger of being abandoned, they cannot control their actions. And they can hurt someone physically, emotionally, through their attempts to prove a point. But the sad and very frustrating element of being in a relationship with a borderline is they actually love you. And they love you so much that if they feel abandoned, they feel like they have to protect themselves and hurt the very person they love the most. And because of that, the partner sustains psychological damage. They sometimes experience post-traumatic stress disorder because these events, these explosions, these attacks are so traumatic that they were unable to process them in the time that they happened and had to suppress or repress them back into their subconscious or unconscious. And that is really the nature of trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder. So often I will refer a client to work with a therapist who specializes in PTSD to work out and heal that trauma that they endured during that relationship. For the codependent partner, what I see often is that after a day, a two, maybe a week, they start to yearn for that person that they fell so deeply in love with. Because as I talked about earlier, codependents and borderline share a deep sense of loneliness, a deep sense of existential emptiness. It is as if they don't feel good in their own skin. And when you are alone and feeling lonely, the pain can be unbearable. So you seek something to put that pain away, take that pain away. And you start to romanticize, you start to distort, you start to remember only the positive elements of that person that hurt you, your borderline partner, and you feel compelled to reconnect with them. Because being with someone who was able to love you so deeply and perfectly, even if it was just for a short period of time, is compartmentalized. And both the borderline and the codependent share that compartmentalization. So to the question, why are codependents so confused about the borderline after they break up? It's because the people with borderline personality disorder are not bad people. They just go through this deep rage and vindictive, hurtful actions or behaviors to the people they love most because they're so hurt themselves. And after a while, the codependents, after they've been hurt, like I said, a couple days or a week, they start to remember the other side of the person, that beautiful side, that loving side, that intensely wonderful, inspiring side, because they can compartmentalize it. As such, they can get quite confused when they start to feel feelings of love and feelings of tenderness for the borderline. And it's because of this ambivalence and this confusion, psychotherapy is so important for the partners also. Because of the social network phenomenon, there's so much added drama to the breakup with the borderline. The borderline will do what they can to show the world how much they have been wronged. As I've said before, borderlines connect almost reflexively to this feeling of abandonment. Whether they were abandoned, whether someone did break up, or someone just said something they didn't like, and they feel victimized by it. They want to show that person that they were wrong and they can't hurt them the way that they feel they were hurt, so they fight back. And they can fight back on Facebook. They can fight back on Twitter. They can call someone's employer and say something that is confidential but very damaging to their career. They can call their partner's children and say, did you know about your dad? They go into this mode of they need to hurt the person who abandoned them in order to protect themselves, and that irrational that irrational frame of mind causes them to hurt the person in ways that sometimes are irreversible. And because of the instantaneous nature of social networking and emails, the borderline who is enraged can cause an unbelievable amount of damage to the partner who they believe abandoned them.